Hey guys, it's Winterwolf, and today we're doing another build, and it's a very special build. In case you guys didn't know, it is June, and it's also Pride Month. So I am doing a Pride-themed build, and I'm going to try doing these throughout the month as much as I can fit in my schedule. So yeah, but before we get into anything else about the build, let's go ahead and get into a Pride fact. So basically every single time I do a Pride build, I will be doing a Pride fact in each video. And today's Pride fact, or multiple facts I guess in some sense, is that the Pride Month was first announced by Bill Clinton in 1999 as the Gay and Lesbian Month, and then Obama relabeled it in 2016 as Pride Month. Surprisingly enough, Trump was actually the first Republican president to acknowledge Pride Month as well, and obviously Biden has continued to support Pride Month, relabeling it as LGBTQ plus Pride Month. Pride Month is actually meant to commemorate the Stonewall riots, which I knew absolutely nothing about. I'm not very familiar with the history of Pride and the LGBTQ community, so I'm actually really glad I'm doing this, so I'm going to learn a little bit. So the Stonewall riots occurred in June of 1969 to combat police raids of gay bars. This is apparently a very common homophobia-driven thing that the police did at the time. Hence, Pride Month occurs in June, and I never knew that, so I'm glad I do now. Okay, getting back into the build, we are doing a Pride-themed dorm or Foxbury common space. It functions as either, I think on the gallery it's listed as university housing, so you can download it on my gallery. My EID is 31 sorry. It's 31winterwolf31, and then I also have my gallery page linked in my link tree, which is in my description box, so you can get it either through opening the game and searching by EID, or you can get it by going to the online version of the gallery, which I hate. I don't understand how people use that thing. But anyway, so the reason I came up with this idea is that my university actually has themed living, and some of the themes are like, what's your major? But other themes are also like LGBT. I thought that was really cool that they had LGBTQ themed living spaces, because that's obviously it's almost a surefire way of like preventing any sort of homophobia in your dorm space. So it's a safety place for people who are LGBTQ plus. It serves as a good support system, and obviously you're probably with people who have shared similar experiences with you, so I think it's really great that they have that. It also has living that is for gender neutral people, so you can choose to live in a space that isn't defined by female or male or boy or girl, which is really great because obviously some people don't feel comfortable under those labels, and now they have options to counter that. And obviously in my university, well actually not obviously because you guys don't know what university I go to, but in my university they also have dorm floors that are co-ed, so that also helps combat any sort of issues with labeling and pronouns. So yeah, anyways, that's how I came up with the idea. I also came up with this cool like flag lounge in the outside area, which you'll see at the end. I did like a little pan going through it, and I just thought it would be a really cool idea if all of the flags were represented in this build. So that's why I built this sort of flag lounge. And it actually also came from my university, because my university has a flag lounge, but it's not based by pride flags, it's based off of country flags. Basically, we have a very large international student population, and so what they would do is every time they got a student from a new country, they would put the flag there, so it's like the student feels represented at our school. That's how I came up with this idea, basically. You will see also that all of the dorm rooms are based off of a specific flag as well. I believe I will put the names of what flag they are on the screen, but in case I get it wrong speaking, that's why I'm going to say it, because I'm going to say it, but I also will have it written because I don't have them all memorized, but I believe that's the intersexual flag. I also think it's the outdated version of the intersexual flag, so I think they need to update that, but I'm not sure. But I believe it's the intersexual flag. I also put 2 flags in each build or each room just to get some more representation in. I really love this room with the blue and the pink colors and sort of the pastel look. The bunk beds are a dream. Obviously, Dream Home Decorator has been used a lot in this pack, or in this build, not this pack. It's been used a lot in this build because they have such good bunk beds and just good furniture. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna use the new pack, of course. I will definitely be using this pack a lot. So if you guys are builders, or you guys like building or having nice houses, then I highly suggest that you guys have this pack, because it's just such a good pack. But yeah, So this is the room for 2 Sims, blue, pink. It's really great. I love all the clutter I add. This is probably the one bedroom that has possibly the most routing issues. I did not playtest this build, so I'm not sure how functional it is, but it should be an easy fix. You definitely need move objects for this build, so just keep that in mind. But so basically this build, on the left hand side you have the residential area, and then on the right side you have the common space area. I don't know if I mentioned this already. Oh, and then also I think the other flag used was the transsexual flag. So it's transsexual and intersexual for this specific build, I think. Anyways, going back to what I'm saying, this build on the left side is residential, and then the right side is common spaces. So you'll see that on the left side we have these 3 bedrooms, as I said earlier, each represented by different flags. I believe there's 2 flags in each bedroom. Not sure if I said that already. I've done this voiceover a couple of times. But yeah, and then you also have this common living space for the residents only, or at least that's the idea, and you have shared bathrooms for the residents only. And now you're coming into the next bedroom, which I believe, let me make sure what flags they've ended up with, but I'll tell you in a minute. But this is the second bedroom. I believe it also has 2 Sims in it. I think for this bedroom I actually end up using the intersex flag and the lesbian flag. So it has sort of this yellow and orange theme going on with a little bit of purple, because the intersex flag obviously has the purple circle in the middle. So that's where that comes from. This is a different layout. I tried my best to make each room very different. So obviously the color schemes are different, but the layout I also tried to make pretty different, which is why there's also only 1 room that has a single bed, so it's for a single sim rather than 2. So this one, again, instead of having sort of like 2 desks, it has 1 desk just to save some space. I did not put any laptops or computers in this build because I felt like if you're playing this in the game, like if you have this build for your game, you wouldn't have a laptop come with your housing. You would have the laptop that you would bring to your housing. So that's why I didn't put any laptops in this. But the community space does have multiple computers that you can use, and it also has the research machines that you can use for your research and debate skill or whatever you need to do. I think you have to use that for your aspiration if you choose to be a university student. So yeah, and then each one has a different color to flooring, which I absolutely love. I really love the Discover University flooring, but I just don't use it super often because it's very bright and very colorful, and it's definitely something that I think you would mostly see in universities or some sort of like commercial place, not like a house. I guess unless you're making maybe a kid's bedroom, but even then I just don't think you would. Unless I change the flags again, this room uses the pansexual and polysexual flag, and the reason I put them together is because they sort of go hand in hand. Like if you're pansexual, you like people regardless of their identification, so regardless of their gender. But then for polysexual, gender may be a factor, but it might not be a factor, and polysexual may be attracted to multiple genders but not attracted to all genders. So I just felt like it kind of worked out. Like you could identify as both pan or poly, or both if you really wanted to. So that's why I put those 2 specifically together, and I hope I don't change them. I don't think I did, but yeah. So this room is very like hot pink, greens, yellows. The hard thing about the new game pack is that it doesn't have very many bright colors, and this is the one room where I need like bright colors, but all of them are very muted, which I love, but for this specific room it needed more color. So that's why I use this really bright what do you call that, closet, and I use the really bright blue flooring, and I add a lot of really bright wallpaper. You'll see that I have this sort of like faded wallpaper that goes from turquoise to yellow, well, kind of green, not really yellow, and then I have some yellow walls on the other side. So that's why this room is really colorful, just because the flags are very colorful as well. I try to put in these parenthood wall lights as much as possible because I feel like that's such a dorm thing to have. Literally almost every dorm or friend I had in college had this like obsession with wall lights. I actually recently got wall lights from my bedroom at home, but I never had them in my dorm because my roommate did. And I was going to get them, but I just never got them for whatever reason. I just didn't. First of all, like putting them up is annoying, but also it's just like I didn't have a reason to. So yeah, so you see I'm just going back and adding some more clutter into this residential area. I am so in love with this build. I'm trying to think of what I should do next. I think I might do another university themed build. Maybe I'll renovate the entire dorm floor of Foxbury because, you know, first of all, the dorm situation in Foxbury is horrifying. Like, the rooms are surprisingly large for, like, dorms. Although, in reality, my dorm was huge, which is funny because my friend from high school, so he goes to Case Western, and his room is like the size of a closet. And my dorm at my university is like bigger than my actual bedroom at home. And I live in like a normal, like actually a pretty expensive suburban house. So it was like kind of surprising that my dorm is so much bigger than his. And it's just funny to see like the variety of dorms in different universities. So it was really fun. I came to visit him, and then, you know, it was very it was very interesting. Although it seems to be based off of what building he was in, because his friend, which is who I stayed with, she had a much bigger dorm than he did. So I don't know, but dorm space seems to be very varied. But I just feel like the full college experience is a very small dorm. So if I go and renovate, I'm gonna make the dorms a little bit smaller. I'll add some more rooms, and we'll make each room pride themed, which will be really great. Or I'm also thinking maybe I'll make like a resource center, like a Pride resource center, or an LGBTQ youth center or something. So I think that'd be a cool idea, or like a retreat house. Obviously those aren't as functional for the game because we don't really have a need for like a retreat, like a Pride retreat house, or like a Pride youth center isn't really something that's needed in the game. Like, you can't play with it. Like, there's no like get resources for LGBTQ youth or something. Like, we don't have that, but that would be so cool if we did. Like, it would be really great if we had a pack for LGBTQ stuff. Obviously I feel like people would say it should be base game, and yeah, of course it should be base game. Like, inclusivity, like, that should be base game. But if they did do it, it would not be a base game thing if they made like a huge fleshed out pack that's purely LGBT. So, but that would be so fun if they had like interactions specifically for LGBTQ youth, like exploring pronouns and Googling this, or like if you could like do experimentation. So like maybe they go to school and they're like, you know, I don't like these pronouns, and they like experiment with other pronouns, and they do research on pronouns, and like their pronoun, like there's like a bar and it like shifts more to like a specific pronoun. That would be so cool. And I know they're researching pronouns right now, but I don't think they're thinking anything like that. And I just think that'd be really amazing if it was something that evolved. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, I think that would be so cool. So cool. Like, hands down, that would be so amazing. It would also add a little bit more like gameplay and realism, because I feel like a lot of our game is lacking. Now we have lifestyles, which is really cool, so it feels like what we do actually matters in the game. So I just feel like if they had that sort of option where your playstyle like altered your pronoun usage would be cool. Obviously that's a little difficult to do. I feel like they'd have to randomize it, because I wouldn't specifically want, like, say the kid plays with dolls, then maybe they're likely to use she, her pronouns. I don't think that's a good idea, but like just kind of randomization of like specific interactions, like research this, or your friend is experimenting and so you now feel like you should be experimenting pronouns. I think that would be really cool in the game. So yeah, so then the community space itself features a computer lab. As I said earlier, it's in the beginning entryway. For the Foxbury dorms, you actually need to have 2 robotic stations. There's only 1 robotic station inside, but there's another one outside. I ended up adding it right next to the recycling machine, because I feel like New University might be more inclined to follow environmental, or be like more environmentally friendly or something. I don't know. So that's why I ended up adding a recycling machine. So there's a little gardening space, there's a bunch of eating spaces. I kind of made this like a cafeteria, and there's a super cool DJ booth outside, which you'll see at the end. So yeah, I feel like I'm running out of things to say. But the video is not even going to be that long, so I don't know why I'm struggling so much to finish this. I struggled a lot with the color scheme of this build, especially the back, because the front was easier once I got a hang of what I wanted to do. But the back was so much more difficult. It was like crazy difficult. I didn't know what colors to use. I felt like purple was out there too much, and then inside was, I don't know. And you'll see that I'm using the new sectional couches to make a big sectional in the outside because I just felt like it'd be really cool. But then it was too big, so I ended up making it a little bit smaller. And I add these like city living tables that have like the built-in fire, like electric fireplace. I wanted to use like the normal fireplaces, but I don't know how sectionals will slot to that. And then also I felt like that would be a little bit weird for a university housing to have. Like, that's not really a safe thing to have. It'd be a huge safety hazard. I mean, in my university, we're not even allowed to have toasters. Okay? Toasters. I literally, every single day, I eat toast and butter for breakfast. I eat toast, butter, I eat some fruit, and that's it. That's all I eat or that's what I used to eat. Now I don't eat like that. But earlier in high school, that's how I ate my breakfast every single day. Toast, fruit, tea. And they don't have a toaster at my university's cafeteria, so I had no toast, and I couldn't bring a toaster, so I didn't have toast ever, which was like broke my heart because I love toast. I don't know what it is about toast, but I love it so much. I think it's just because I like butter, but I just love toast for some reason, so it broke my heart to not have it. Originally, I wanted to put a karaoke machine. This is the thing I'm talking about that looks so cool. Doesn't that rainbow, like, going down the walls into the floor just looks so amazing? And it glows in the dark. So I was like, I have to make this something fun. So originally I made a karaoke machine, and then I was like, nope, karaoke machine will break in the wind or any sort of like rainy weather. So I was like, okay, fine, we'll do a performance area. And I was like, that just doesn't look as grand. So then I end up keep going back to this stupid DJ booth. I'm not super happy that I used the DJ booth, but it was the best thing like I thought of to put there. But if you guys have other ideas, I would highly suggest putting a karaoke machine somehow and just, you know, dealing with the fact that it breaks. Or a performance stage would be really cool. Put some art stuff there, like whatever. I also end up adding some murals. I end up adding some murals in the build. You can already see the first one is right on that cafe space, or cafeteria space. So that's kind of that's the ones like your Sims can make in City Living. If you guys have City Living, your Sims can like DIY city murals, and they can have a political meaning. So this one I think references pride and gay pride, obviously, and obviously LGBTQ rights. So that's why I ended up using that one for this build. And then I also have a floor mural that I put the entryway. Originally, I was going to do the same thing with the rainbow going from the cafeteria out. So it's like you walk into like a rainbow steps or something. But it just looked kind of like overwhelming. Like it was a little bit too much. The front of the house or the front of the build is so much, like there's so much color already. I just felt like that was going too far. So I was like, no, we won't do that much. You'll also see that in my Pride Lounge, which I'm making right now, I end up adding some Foxbury flags because obviously this is a Foxbury build, so you need to have your Foxbury flags. So that's why that's there. And I also just need something to fill up a fourth space because it didn't work out that well. But anyways, I think you're hitting screenshots. So I hope you guys like this build, and I hope you guys like this video. As always, if you did, please give it a big thumbs up. If you like me, hit the subscribe button. If you really like me, please go ahead and hit that notification bell button so that you can be notified every single time I post. I will be posting a couple of resources for LGBTQ youth, specifically in regards to education, so make sure to check out my description box as well. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you next time.